Hello everyone, welcome again to another episode of the Com series. You see me smiling, or is it blushing they call it? That is because I am super excited that this episode is not just an episode but a special one, and it is going to be handled by our first and pioneer guest in the house. And in this episode, we'll be looking at another very salient and very interesting topic in public relations, and that is press release and press statement. In one of our episodes, we talked about it briefly, but a subject matter expert is in the house and he's going to be drilling down on the difference between press release and press statement. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. I told you we're having our first and pioneer guest in the house in this episode, so I target the special episode of Comms 013. And he's not a person, a friend, a brother. Interestingly, it's our first time of meeting, having a physical touch. We've always followed each other way back over the years on this professional platform, LinkedIn, and we started engaging each other on having him feature in the Com series. And here he is live and direct in the studio with me. He's not a person, but the Stanley Olisa, ANIPR, Global PR Manager. In his right, he's been a very consistent person, and I love what he does on LinkedIn, talking about PR communication from his wealth of experience. And that is the great guy we're featuring in this episode, the Com series.
Thank you, Mr. Ken, for having me on the Com series, actually the pioneer guest, and feel so great to be here. So today we'll be looking at press release and press statement, the differences between both of them. I'm sure you know these are public relations copies. These are communication tools that PR practitioners use to disseminate information. They are actually external comms tools, right? But then there is this confusion prevalent out there. People tend to confuse both, right? And I think this is understandable because both terms actually have press release, press statement. So, it's understandable that some of us can confuse both of them, right? And then try to interchange, and that is wrong. Now, let's start with press release. Press release is a proactive communication tool, right? It's used to announce something, a campaign, a milestone, an award, an accolade, like your company just concluded a funding round, right? You need a press release to put that communication out. That's a press release, right? And then press statement essentially is a reactive communication tool, right? Your organization is battling with a crisis, or there's been an issue, there's a development, right? And there's an allegation, and then you need to respond, you need to react, you need to straighten out facts, you need to state the position of your organization. What you put out is a press statement. So you can see that both of them are different. Even in structure, they are different. And I'm going to be explaining the disparities, right? Structurally and in terms of purpose. Okay, so broadly, the press release, right, has two parts, right? So you have the headline, the sub-headline, and the body of the press release constituting one part, and then the other part is the boilerplate harboring the about us section. Still under the about us or the boilerplate, you have the media contact. Now let's look at the style of writing a press release. Press release is very journalistic, right? Meaning that it is written in the inverted pyramid style. The inverted pyramid style is one of the format for presenting news. If for those that studied journalism or took courses in news writing, right? So the inverted pyramid style, the top heavy and bottom light, right? That's the style that you use to write a press release. And that's very different from the one you use to write a press statement. Now, a press release has quotes. A press statement doesn't have quotes. A press release is it has media contacts, public relations officer or head of corporate communications or the corporate affairs officer or the spokesperson. So if the journalist wants to contact or maybe reach out for an interview or something, there's a contact, there's somebody, there's a number or an email, there's a number to call, right? These are some of the features of a press release. And then, like I said, it has a headline. A press statement, strictly speaking, doesn't have a headline. What you have is a title. And then you may want to fault that submission. I mean, title, headline. There's a difference, really. There's a difference between a title and a headline, right? Now, let's get to the press statement. The press statement is like a public notice. Anybody can actually write a press statement. It's easier to write, right? A press release is more journalistic, meaning you need a bit of journalistic mastery to be able to craft a compelling, newsworthy press release. But the press statement is like a public notice. Anybody can write it. And then, you have your title, and then you just start writing. It's not narrative. You are just stating facts. You're clarifying, you're reacting to maybe an allegation. You're giving the position of your organization on that issue. So you are stating facts. It's straightforward. It's shorter, even more concise than a press release, right? And then a press release has what you call dateline, meaning you see the headline and then the sub headline, the lead. Before the lead, there is usually a date, date and origin, the source, the location. Say Lagos, Nigeria, October 24th, 2025. A press statement doesn't have that. Now, your press statement is like a public notice. It starts like this, something like, we wish to. The management of XYZ company wishes to clarify. Our attention has been brought to. Those are the lines you see, your typical press statements, right? They start that way, right? So you can see there is a huge difference between a press release and a press statement. You should never confuse both. If your organization is reacting to a crisis, or there's been a customer experience issue, or there's a negative social media post, there is a publication making the rounds, and you need to respond and provide clarification to assure your stakeholder ecosystem that everything is okay, or maybe you want to dispel a rumor, you issue a press statement. The communication you issue is a press statement. The communication you issue, it would be wrong to tag it a press release. That's the problem. It would be wrong to tag it a press release. It's a press statement. Now, if your organization has just won an award and you want to announce it, what you're issuing, the communication you're putting out, is a press release. So if you issue that communication, it would be wrong to tag it press statement. There is a big difference between both of them, and I even think some journalists don't even know the difference. When you send, I mean, I've experienced it. I send out a press release, and then the journalist publishes it, and then you see something in a statement issue. It's actually a press release, not a statement. It's not a statement. It's a press release. So when journalists are also citing the communication that you've issued, they need to also get it right. If a journalist is doing a story about an organization that just concluded, say, a funding round, you don't say in a statement, right? It's a press release. They issued a press release. But I think we public relations practitioners need to also get it right. Our industry, our profession is dealing with a lot of misconceptions. So internally, we need to get it right. We shouldn't get the names of our tools wrong. I mean, it reflects poorly on the image of the profession. We are supposed to be managing reputation and perception. I mean, so we should be very good at managing our own reputation, how people perceive us, and it starts from within. If we make mistakes or get it wrong with the names of the tools we use, then I mean, I think that's not a good place to really start this campaign to manage the image of public relations practitioners.
That was such a breathtaking session with my good friend, a colleague in the industry. I told you, our pioneer guest has indeed made it worthy to this episode of the Com series. And it's not that place, like I said, Mr. Stanley Olisa. And if you follow him on LinkedIn, there are so many things to learn, so many PRO tools, so many PRO tactics to learn from his handle. I am super excited that we have a professional come on the Com series in this episode to tell us about the difference between press release and press statement. Like he said, they are used in different angles. Do not mix it up. See you again in our next episode.